everybody. Hello, wide world out there.
Hi, everyone, and happy New Year. I hope that your 2021, I nearly said 2020, can you believe it, has started off really well. I don't know if you're feeling like me. I feel like it's 2020 version 1. Take 2, let's go again. But I'm hoping that your 2021 has started off really well. And I'm so excited to launch off our very first accessibility session of the year with iPadOS14's new accessibility features that were released end of last year. There were some amazing updates, and I'm excited to be able to share them with you today. And as anybody who's attended any of my sessions previously, you will know how passionate I am about Apple's accessibility features, just really because it changes the face of accessibility and really allows to create disability inclusive environments from an education point of view, all the way to an economic point of view, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's get started. There's a little bit of admin as always. So today's session is an iStore Meet session. Oh, it's not letting me go. There we go. Today's session is an iStore Meet session. And I really want to encourage you to engage with us today. Share your thoughts, share any of your comments, and also just feel free to share who you are. And if you have any questions throughout today's session, please feel free to stop me and ask. We have the chat section available and the Q&A section. I am monitoring both. So wherever you put it, your questions will be answered. And also, if you are interested in becoming an iStore Meets host, well then email us istore.meets@istore.co.za. And we'd love to hear how you could present and what you could present on. I can see who's online today, and I can see some potential hosts that are on today. And we would love to collaborate with you and hear your ideas and your thoughts of what sessions you would like to present on. And lastly, you can share about today's session, and you can stand a chance to win a 1,500 Rand iStore voucher simply by either taking a screenshot of today's session or sharing what you've learned from today's session using the hashtag iStoreMeets. If you share and your post gets chosen, like I said, you could stand a chance to win an amazing voucher. And let's be honest, who couldn't use a 1,500 Rand iStore voucher to kick off 2021? I know I would if I could. So today's session also has closed captions available for anybody who would like to make use of them. Simply at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you will have a taskbar, and there will be a button labeled closed captions. Simply click on it and you will have access to the closed captions. They are automatically generated, so please just keep that in mind that they aren't 100% accurate. We are doing our best to make sure that the closed captions are as accurate as possible. And this is the solution we have come up with. Okay, so enough ad, and now all of that is out of the way. On to today's session. Hi, my name is Chelsea Williamson. I am the Inclusion and Accessibility Specialist at iSchool Africa and Think Ahead, and we partner with iStore as well. Today's session is a partnership between the 3 companies, and I'm really excited and honored to be the one presenting today's session to you. My email address is on the screen, so if you are one of those people who are too shy to pop your chats in the chat section or in the Q&A section, you're more than welcome to email me at any given time, and I will respond as soon as I can to any of your requests. You can also go ahead and follow us on social media to stay up to date with all of our upcoming events. So just a little bit of background on myself. I have quite an extensive background in the field of disabilities, mainly because at the age of 9, I was diagnosed with my own disabilities. And it kind of has been my driving force in doing what I do and being passionate about what I do. I later on went to get my degree in South African Sign Language, as well as a teaching diploma. And I have just begun my master's in disability rights. So I'm really excited to expand my knowledge and expand the world that we're living in, and just keep adding and growing to this field, because there is so much research and so much that is needed in this field, especially in South Africa. And those of you that work with children with disabilities, or have a disability yourself, or just need accessibility support, I know that you will agree with this statement. So I think to kick off today's session, we have to address a very important question. And it's a question that I get faced with almost on a daily basis. Why Apple? And again, I can see who's attending today. So I am basically preaching to the choir. Most of you are the converted already, but just so that you have a little bit of an understanding and a background into Apple and Apple's views on accessibility. Apple has always prioritized accessibility. And I know that statement might sound vague, or, well, really, how have they prioritized accessibility over the years? Well, the truth of the matter is, from the day that Apple was formulated, accessibility has always been a value. Before it was a buzzword, before we were talking about disability inclusion and equity and all of those fun terms, from the very beginning of Apple, accessibility has always been a value of it. In fact, the very first phone that was released with accessibility features was an iPhone. And it has always been something that they have prioritized in all of their devices. Hence, all of their accessibility features being for free on their devices and built in to every single one of their devices. It's just as simple as knowing how to activate them. And just to sum this up, this is a quote that I love, and if you've ever heard me speak before, you would have heard this quote, but Tim Cook says, "We've always viewed accessibility as a human right. And just like human rights are for everyone, we want our products to be accessible to everyone." And they really do take this philosophy into everything that they do as a company, always driving accessibility as a human right and making sure that their products are accessible to everyone. And when we talk about accessible, we mean that every single person can pick up an iPhone, an iPad, a MacBook, an Apple Watch, an Apple TV, and a HomePod, and be able to use this device no matter what their specific need might be. Whether you are blind, low vision, deaf, hard of hearing, have a physical disability from cerebral palsy to an amputation, learning disability, neurodiverse disability, any disability or diversibility, whatever word you want to use, you will be able to use an Apple device simply using the accessibility features. So the accessibility features, as I mentioned, are available across all of Apple's devices. Today's session, we're going to be focusing on the iPad accessibility features. And Apple really does believe that technology is most powerful when it empowers everyone. And I love that. And I just love that this is truly shown throughout all their devices. So just to show you a little bit more about Apple's accessibility features, I'm going to quickly show you a very short video that is a video developed and filmed and edited by Apple of their accessibility features. Some of you might have seen this video. Some of you, this will be your first time seeing this video. The video does have audio descriptions or voiceover on the video. So for those of you that have never listened or watched a video with audio descriptions, this might be your first time. But it's really just to ensure that today's session is as accessible as possible. So hope you enjoy.
In a kitchen, we move to an open bedroom door. In the bedroom, Sadie Paulson is reflected in a mirror. A caregiver brushes her hair, then helps her into a blouse.
People think that having a disability is a barrier.
Sadie sits at a desk working with an iMac. She moves her head to operate switches on her headrest.
But that's not the way I see it.
Now, a young man uses sign language on a FaceTime call.
You can catch up with friends.
A young woman signs back. Now a family picnics.
Ready?
You can capture a moment with your family.
One face, small face,
focus lock.
A blind man takes a photo with an iPhone.
And you can start the day bright and early.
A woman lies in bed using an iPhone app to open motorized curtains and turn on her lights. She lowers herself into a
You
wheelchair.
can take a trip to somewhere new.
A man hikes with friends. Now a close-up of his hearing aid. He stops to select the outdoor setting on his iPhone.
3 miles to the summit.
A boy reads a book on an iPad in
You
class.
can concentrate on every word of a story.
A bird began to sing. Jack opened his eyes.
An athlete selects outdoor wheelchair workout on her Apple
You
Watch.
can take the long way home.
A beach at sunset. The athlete pushes her wheelchair aggressively down a paved path, quickly gaining speed. Then the footage rewinds, revealing that it's being edited in Final Cut Pro.
Or edit a film like this one.
We zoom out to reveal Sadie editing the film. She uses her head to use switch control, navigating an on-screen keyboard.
When technology is designed for everyone,
She drags a clip and plays the film.
it lets anyone do what they love, including me.
Sadie laughs. Then a gray Apple logo appears on a white background. The logo disappears.
I just love that video. I really think it encompasses Apple's accessibility features as a whole. And that video is quite old. It doesn't even have the new accessibility features that I'm going to be talking about today. But it's so exciting that accessibility is constantly being developed and improved upon. And that video was edited by the lady in the video, Sadie, who is one of Apple's employees and one of their full-time employed video editors. So some of you might be thinking, well, wow, I want those accessibility features, and I don't blame you. If you've never used your accessibility features before, it's really, really, really simple to find. Like I said, today's session is focusing on the iPad. So in your iPad, and the setting is the same on your iPhone. It is a little bit different on your MacBook and your Apple TV, but if you need any support with your other devices, please feel free to contact me. I'm stumbling over my words today, but please feel free to contact me if you need support with your other devices. But on your iPad, simply open up your settings menu. Yes, your normal standard settings menu, and scroll down to accessibility. It's a little blue icon with a man, as you can see on the screen. And once you do that, you will see it's broken down into 4 sections: vision, physical, motor, hearing, and general. And this is where all of your accessibility features will be found. And they range from screen readers to zoom, magnifier, hearing aid support, voice control, really switch control. I mean, the amount of accessibility features that there are available on your devices is uncanny, to be frank. So today's session, I'm just going to be covering the new features that were released end of last year and any updates that came from that. In fact, I'm not even going to be covering all of them because there isn't enough time. But we're simply just going to cover the new ones. If you would like to know more about the accessibility features and support that we can give you for specific disabilities or specific needs, please, again, feel free to contact me. I'm really, really more than happy to help you in your journey. So the first iPadOS accessibility feature that was launched end of last year, possibly one of my favorite new accessibility features, but just because I have a background working in the deaf community. I was a teacher at a deaf school for quite a number of years, and then I was a sign language interpreter for a while. But the first accessibility feature that was released in iPadOS14 is FaceTime sign language recognition. Now, this is a little bit tricky for people to understand, and it's also very tricky to show without asking 5 of my deaf friends to quickly hop onto a FaceTime call and show you this practically. I have to explain it. So FaceTime sign language recognition, ultimately, we all use FaceTime. We all love FaceTime. FaceTime can support a group call up to 32 people, which is amazing. But however, previously in earlier devices in iPadOS13 and earlier, when you were in a FaceTime call as a deaf user for FaceTime, it wasn't really deaf friendly, purely because it has speaker prominence, but not sign language prominence. So group of hearing individuals are on a FaceTime call, and as I speak, my screen, my video gets highlighted for everybody to see. It's Chelsea speaking. And then when Jennifer speaks, Jennifer's video gets highlighted and it shows Jennifer speaking. And then when Karen speaks, Karen's video gets highlighted and Karen speaking, and so on and so forth. However, with iPadOS 14 and iOS 14, FaceTime now recognizes sign language users. So a group of 5 deaf users hop onto a call, and me communicating in sign language, it will recognize I am the speaker, and it will highlight my video. The next person communicating in sign language starts signing, and their video will be highlighted, and so on and so forth. Now, this might seem very simple, but it is so amazing to see how sign language is being highlighted and recognized and given the recognition that it needs and deserves. So it's really such a step in the right direction for Apple, and also just to show that Apple does acknowledge sign language users and the need for sign language users. So that's the first one. The second one is sound recognition. Now, this is going to be really funny to try and show you. I'm going to explain it first, and then I'm going to switch and share the screen directly from my iPad so that you can see what's happening, as how to set it up and see how it will work once it's set up. So sound recognition, ultimately, for a deaf or hard of hearing individual to work independently, they have to rely on assistive devices that do this feature, which is sound recognition. So for example, if the doorbell rings, as a deaf and hard of hearing individual, we can't hear that the doorbell has rung. So our devices now will pop up with a notification, and it works seamlessly on an iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch, which is really great. You get a notification saying your doorbell has rung, or someone has knocked on the door, or there is a baby crying, or a dog barking, or fire alarm. And that just creates independent living and an independent lifestyle for deaf and hard of hearing individuals. Instead of having to rely on hearing individuals to tell me, oh my gosh, the fire alarm is going off at work, we need to evacuate the building. Rather, my iPad will pop up with a notification, and I don't need to rely on somebody to tell me that this is happening. Now, yes, people can say, well, there is that assistive device and there is this assistive device that does that. Great. But all of these assistive features, having them available in one place on one device, really just limits the costs and make life so much more accessible. Having 10 assistive devices in one device, truly making the iPad the most assistive device on market. So I'm going to show you simply how to set this up and how this is going to work. So I'm going to stop sharing here. And now you have my face as, as the full screen. Let me just switch on over to my iPad. Okay. Share. Okay, there we go. So now you will be able to see my iPad screen. Just a quick word of warning, I can no longer see my chat screen, so I will come back and check the chat section for questions, but you are a very quiet bunch. There's quite a big group of people on, but no one is talking. Never know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm hoping it's a good thing. So let me show you how to set up sound recognition. We're going to head on over to your settings menu, like I explained. You're going to scroll down to accessibility. The blue icon with the man, click on accessibility. And you're going to have those 4 sections that I explained: vision, physical, motor, hearing. Now, this is a hearing accessibility feature, so it will be under the hearing section. And it is the second menu item under the hearing section, sound recognition. You can see mine's already turned on, but if you have never turned this on before, you'll simply turn it on and it will download, and the sounds menu item will appear. So you click on sounds, and then you activate which sounds you would like your device to recognize for you. So here I have clicked on fire, dog, door knock, and baby crying. And I have actually downloaded these sounds for you to hear. So let's go with door knock. And there you go. At the top of my iPad, I'm going to hold this down for you to see. A sound has been recognized that may be a door knock. And that's really simply how it works. I'm not going to go into all the other sounds. And I have sat and I have fiddled with this, and I have played around with it. It's really funny. I tried this with my 2-year-old, and I forgot that it was on. And my 2-year-old had a little meltdown, you know, terrible twos. And next thing, my iPad was telling me that there was a baby crying. And I was like, well, thanks for that. I didn't already feel bad enough as it was, but it's just amazing to see how your devices really listen and are able to speak to you and give you that independence that you need. So I'm just going to I need to quickly turn this over. You can see I was using my sidecar there. Don't look at my calendar. It is very scary. And there we go. I just realized. Okay, that was a lot of sounds at once. But so as you could see there, my iPad immediately recognized that. Oh, sorry, I'm busy fiddling with my sidecar at the same time. Whew, excuse me for that. My sidecar was not working well with me. There we go. So that should work again. Okay. So as you saw, that is how sound recognition works. So as a sound gets recognized, your device will send you a notification letting you know that that sound has been recognized close by, and what you can then follow on and do what you would like to do about that. So the next accessibility feature that was released with iPadOS 14 is headphones accommodations. So again, we're going to head on over to settings, and we're going to go to accessibility, and we're going to scroll down again to the hearing section. And you're going to see here, it says hearing devices, sound recognition, audio and visual, subtitles and captioning. We're going to go to audio visual for this one. And you can see up at the top, it says headphones accommodation. You're going to click on that. And now I'm going to turn this off so that you can see. Again, there's no menu. And then when you turn it on, the menu appears. What I really love about this is this custom audio setup. And this is all new, all just been added. When you click on the custom audio setup, I'm going to do it very briefly. I need to put my headphones in for it. But when you do the custom audio setup with your headphones in, it goes through a mini hearing test for you, where it's going to say, can you hear this sound? Can you hear this sound? Where do you hear this sound? And what it's going to do, which is what sound do you prefer, is it's going to set up the audio based on your hearing preferences, because not everybody hears the same. I might hear brighter sounds, which is treble sounds, better, but I might not really like the bass sounds. So you can see here, it's going to tune the audio, and my sound is set up as brightness because I personally like those sounds. And it's not that I'm hard of hearing. Some people have audio sensitivity, and that's also okay. But your iPad can adjust the sounds based on your hearing preferences, which is really, really amazing. And then you can play it with your phone as well, which just shows the Apple ecosystem. Because with the Apple ecosystem, we really want to have that preference across all of our devices. That's something that I love. Just a simple thing that I love about Apple is, if you set it up on your iPad, it's going to sync with your iPhone, and they're going to do the same thing. And your preference is going to be shared across devices. And it really just makes life that little bit easier having that preference set up. So this is headphones accommodation. And I also just love the custom audio setup to really go through that test to make sure that it's suited to your specific needs. Okay, the next one is voice over recognition. And I just love the new features that have come with voiceover. I know that there was a little bit of issues when iPadOS 14 was first released with VoiceOver. As always, whenever there's an iPadOS or iOS update, there will always be glitches. And I always recommend to people, when there's a new update, give it a month, or even 2 months if you're willing to wait before you do that update. So all these glitches and bugs can be addressed before you go and update your device. And then VoiceOver's glitching and you freaking out, and rather give it a month or two. But VoiceOver now is phenomenal. I mean, the new updates that have come to VoiceOver is really amazing. And Apple has truly been taking advantage of Apple's bionic chip and neural engine. So iPhones and iPads now have additional VoiceOver features that go beyond just button recognition. And what's really great is if a developer doesn't include audio descriptions for some elements of their user interface, which happens more often than it should, VoiceOver will automatically supplement with optical recognition. In addition to buttons, iPhone and iPad will recognize objects such as sliders, tables, and other UI kit interfaces. And Apple says it can even recognize custom interface elements included into an app. Apple's neural engine is also being used to add more context to image descriptions in apps and on the web. Currently, you might come across an image of two people sitting in chairs at a table, but thanks to image recognition, VoiceOver will be able to add context to that image and describe the two people sitting at a restaurant enjoying a meal. Context is everything. So I'm actually going to show you this, a little bit of this, just using my camera and VoiceOver to just give you a better understanding of how it can. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go 2 ways. I'm going to show a photo of me and my family, which you will now be exposed to. And the second thing is I'm going to take, I'm going to open up my camera app and just let it scan this menu from one of my favorite restaurants, Royal Indian. And don't get confused, I don't like spicy food, but they make an amazing paneer korma. So let's head on over. You can still see my screen. I'm going to turn on VoiceOver. Now, all I do to turn on VoiceOver is I triple click my home button or side button if you've got an iPad Pro. I have an iPad 6, so just simply triple click your home button if you've set it up to be an accessibility shortcut. I'll show you how to do that very quickly. In your accessibility menu, scroll down to the bottom and you'll see there it says accessibility shortcut. Simply click on that, and all the accessibility features you want to have accessed by a triple click, you just select them with a blue tick next to it, and then whenever you triple click your home button, it'll show you a menu and ask you which accessibility feature you would like to use. And as you can see here, VoiceOver for me is selected. So now I'm going to head on over to my photos, and I'm going to pull up. I'm going to show you 2 photos. So this is a photo of me and my husband and my little baby boy, my 2-year-old. He wasn't 2 in this photo. I think he must be a little bit less than a year old. But I'm going to triple click my home button and turn on VoiceOver so that you can hear what happens with VoiceOver now with photos.
Photos. Photo. The 2nd of July 2019. Landscape. Photo. The 2nd of July 2019. Swipe. Photo. The 2nd of July 2019. Maybe 3 people, including Chelsea, Gareth, and Judah. Adult, baby, blue sky, branch, child, I. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap alert. Selected. VoiceOver off.
So if you were listening, you would have heard VoiceOver say Chelsea, Gareth, because that's how it likes to pronounce my husband's name, Gareth, and Judah. Because of the user interface and Apple's facial recognition, it has recognized that it is my face, my husband's face, and my son's face, and even tells me the names of the people. It tells me that there are branches in the photo and that there's a blue sky. And it also says that there's a child being Judah, which is really, it just shows that there's more. Now, the second photo I'm going to show you, this is a photo of my veggie garden. I'm very proud of my veggie garden, and I actually eat quite a lot out of it. So let's see what VoiceOver says for my veggie gardens. I don't know if you can hear that. It's not listening on my side. Let me try that again.
Landscape. Home button to the right. Photos. Photo. Photo. The 13th of January. Plant. Spinach. Horn. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate. Alert. Selected. Voiceover off.
So as you can see, it tells me that it's a plant. Spinach is actually lettuce. It did originally say lettuce. I don't know why it's changed its mind, but it lets you know what's in that photo. Now, just to show you an update with VoiceOver, I'm going to turn on my camera and I'm going to try to take a photo of my menu here. And let's see what happens. VoiceOver.
VoiceOver off. Viewfinder. Focus unlocked. Image. Double tap to focus. Book. Wood processed. One face centered.
Don't you hate
Near
it?
top edge. Face near top. Centered. Near top left edge. Centered. Near top edge. Centered. Alert. Selected. VoiceOver off. VoiceOver on. Camera. Take picture. Button. Face centered. Face centered. Alert. Selected. VoiceOver off.
I'm sorry about that. VoiceOver is not wanting to behave with me. I don't know why, but what it should in theory do is say, it'll actually read that text aloud to you, which is what it should be doing. But I guess VoiceOver has a mind of its own today. But anyways, it does do it. I did test it before the session and it worked beautifully. But you know how it is. Some days things work and some days it doesn't want to work with me. Today, it is not wanting to work with me. Before the session, I triple checked, did it 100 times on 100 different devices. Jennifer, I love that you say this usually happens in demos where you're with me. And it's so funny because VoiceOver for me works 99% of the time. And then I present on it. And I actually end up using a lot of screen recordings. But anyways, so that's VoiceOver's updates. And I just love that they are constantly improving. VoiceOver is the oldest accessibility feature for Apple. But just because it's been around for forever doesn't mean that they can't improve on it. And I love that Apple is constantly improving on it. And that is what they've done with iPadOS and iOS 14. They've really just improved on such an amazing existing feature. So the next iPadOS 14 features that they've released is way more vision enabling updates, and the one being magnifier. Magnifier is something that I have learned to love. I've always loved it, but I've learned to love it even more over the past year, purely because I'm starting to interact with individuals that are using magnifier more and more and in more and unique ways. And just to kind of give you an understanding, and I'll show you magnifier just now, but the one client that I was meeting with had lost his vision 2 years before he came to see me, and just bought an iPad and had spent thousands of rand on magnifiers and all these different assistive devices to help him. And when he came in with his, he had an iPhone. When he came in with his iPhone, just wanting to get some support for accessibility, and I showed him VoiceOver and Zoom and all these other things, and I ended up showing him magnifier. He sat in the session and I never thought of this. I was showing him how to read documents and menus and books and all these fun things. And he picked up his device and he looked at his wife. And he turned to me and he said he hadn't been able to see his wife's face in 2 years. And just from having his iPhone, he was able to see his wife's face. And another person who's actually on the call, who's on this webinar today, she said to me, she looks at life through her device instead of looking at it. And Magnify gives you those tools to be able to look at life through your device. And I'm going to show you and explain that to you now. So Magnify is one of those, not much can go wrong with it, touch wood. So here's hoping. So I've got a couple of things in front of me. I've got a book that I'm reading, Steve Biko. If you are interested in racial inclusion, Steve Biko is a great book to read. And I've also got a menu. I've got Barack Obama's book, and I've got my weekly planner here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you Steve Biko's book. Again, triple click your home button, or as you can see on my screen with iPadOS14, they've actually added Magnifier as an app. So you no longer have to triple click your home button or go to accessibility and activate it. They've added it as an app. And then simply to activate it, you can either open the app or triple click your home button. So I'm going to just click on Magnifier here. Okay, so there we go. There's my book that I've got. And here we go. Oh, my book's upside down. I was trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay. Oh, why am I feeling like... There we go. I'm having a day. Okay. So here you can see is the book, and I can really... just zoom in as much as I need to. This is really, as I said, okay, so I can zoom in as far as I need to be able to read whatever is on this book. Okay, so you can see there I've zoomed in on the signature. And I can zoom in on the title. Now, you can use this for crosswords, for writing, for one of the ladies, Jennifer, you can use this for crosswords, for gardening, for knitting, for sewing, and just be able to zoom in and out as far as you need to, simply using the slider. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a photo of this, just so I can show you some more of the support here. So I've taken a photo, and once I've taken a photo, I can zoom in as close as I need to, zoom out, and then I can also play with some of the additional features. So you can see here, now this interface looks so different to the way it did before iPadOS 14. So the first one is you're going to click on the sun button, and the sun button is going to adjust the exposure. You can exposure, the brightness. So you can adjust it, make it super bright, or adjust it and make it really low. You can adjust the contrast. I like having high contrast, low brightness, but that's my personal preference. Sorry, high brightness, high contrast. And you can sit and fiddle with that. You can even go as far as to adjust the filters. Now this is completely new. So you can make it red. This is a lot of people's preference, is the black on yellow. I find it quite straining for my eyes, but it's completely up to you, whatever your preference is. You can sit and fiddle with the features, which really just adds that element of accessibility to it. You can click on the gear menu, and you can see those are the additional controls that I would like. You can adjust the different types of filters you would prefer, and it just makes it a whole lot more customizable. You can also, if you want to, take multiple photos of multiple pages. Here we go. So I'm going to take another photo of this page. And this is, again, new. Whereas before, you weren't able to take multiple photos of multiple frames. And you can see I'm just taking. And then I can view all of the pages, zoom in, and read them at a zoomed in level. And then you can even, once you've taken these photos, you can go and click on the share icon up at the top, and you can add it to your photos if you want to go back and have a look at them at a later stage, which is just really, really great to add that additional accessibility support. Okay, so that is just an overview of the new accessibility features. I see Jennifer, are you seeing screen sharing? Please let me know if you didn't see the screen sharing. But then also multi-freeze frames is so helpful. I agree with you. The multi-freeze frames is, before when it was iPadOS 13, you had to take a photo of the one, then end, take a photo of the second one, then end. But now being able to take multiple photos of multiple pages and save them as is, it's a game changer. And again, like I said, you can use it for so many different things. Reading a menu, reading a book. I've shown my mom how to do this because she started losing her vision, just old age. And she sits at restaurants and she can't read the menus. I mean, she holds them 100 miles away to try and read them. And I've said to her, well, let me show you how to use your phone so you don't look like that lady sitting at a restaurant holding the menu 100 miles away. Just open up your phone and then I'll show you how to use this feature. And it's really just helped her, and it's helped so many other individuals that have either got vision loss, whether it's due to age or due to a degenerative disease, or maybe born with that. So Tina, I see you can't see the screen being shared, only the home screen. I'm done using magnifier. Please let me know if you didn't see that. If you didn't see the magnifier, what I can do is after this session, I will send videos on how to use magnifier, just to make sure that everybody gets the most out of the session. And I'll send you a follow-up video after today's session so that you can go back and at a later stage just go over the accessibility features that I've shown today. I see there's another chat that popped up. That would be great. Thank you. Okay, great. Tina, everybody on the session, I will send a follow-up email to everybody that's here today to make sure that you can go through and have a play through the accessibility features whenever you would like. There are some really amazing accessibility features that are available out there. It's really just up to you to go sit and play with them. And if you're struggling with an accessibility feature, please feel free to just get in touch with me, and I will help you through the process. So that is all the accessibility features. But before I close, first of all, you can join our Couch to Class Facebook group where we update our upcoming events and offers. But what I'd really like to share with you is, maybe you've joined today's session and you don't have an iPad, and you're hearing these accessibility features and you really want to be able to use them, but you don't have an iPad. We run really amazing specials for teachers and for parents. You can simply scan the QR code that's on the screen, or I'll send it in the follow-up email as well, for you to just go and have a look at these bundles that we're offering for parents and teachers. Really, really great, and making the iPad affordable in bundle packages. And also for schools and educational institutions, we are selling the iPad 8th generation, which is the latest iPad, 10.2 inch. It's bigger than my iPad. My iPad's an iPad 6, and it's a 9.7 inch. So it's a nice big screen, 10.2 inch. And they're going from 5,799. Really, really amazing price. And you can just get in contact with Didi. Her email address is didi@thinkahead.co.za, and she will help you with that process. And then lastly, we have some amazing upcoming accessibility sessions happening soon. Next week on the 3rd of Feb, it's World Read Aloud Day. And we're going to be sharing on how you can read aloud with your iPad. There's a lot of people that are advertising World Read Aloud Day, and they're saying, put down your screen and read. And I'm like, but what about those people that can't read from a conventional book? Let's show you how to read aloud using your screen. Pick up your screen and let's read. And the second session is on the 18th of Feb. February is Low Vision Awareness Month, and we will be celebrating it on Thursday, the 18th of Feb. We have an amazing guest who's going to be co-presenting with us. So it's really going to be one you don't want to miss. And we're going to be exploring how, if you have low vision, how you can effectively use your iPad to just get the most out of your device. And we also have some other series coming up, new to iPad, Apple Teacher series, school device management, tech series, coding series, and all of these series are available on istoremeets.co.za/meets, istore.co.za/meets. So go and have a look at all of our upcoming sessions, and we would love to have you attending as many as possible. And that's all from me today. Like I said, my email address is everywhere. I've given to you 100 times, but please feel free to get in touch with me if you need absolutely anything. I'm more than happy, willing, and able to help